Hello, this is Trooper Keeton reporting from the Texas Tech campus on the firing of head football coach Mike Leach. It appears that Coach Leach got the Jackie Sherrill treatment. If you're not familiar with that deal, Sherrill supposedly, when he was at A&M, some kid came back years later and said that one of the assistant coaches gave him a big box of money. Well, it took a couple years the NCAA to investigate, but in the meantime Sherrill had been fired and A&M had no coach. Now, all of a sudden these accusations, ridiculous accusations come up, and Texas Tech has no head football coach. That's not only going into a bowl game against a Big Ten team, but it's coming up on the 2010 season. That was Texas Tech's year. You know, Taylor Potts' second year at the helm, everything was coming together. Last year we thrashed Oklahoma. We would have beaten Texas again this last year if it hadn't gotten help from three of Randy Crystal's crew members who were on the field. You know, Randy wasn't there because of Mike had called him out a couple years before. Hometown boy there in Austin who detests Mike Leach. But anyway, they did slip three of their crew members in. I'm pretty sure it was one of those guys that should have called the helmet to helmet and didn't pick up a couple of pass interference calls. You know, the same old scenario. Oh, and while we're on the subject, there were two coaches over the last 5 years that complained about the officiating in their games against Texans. And guess what? They're both fired. They're both unemployed. And one of them, our coach, it's so much as the way they put this spin on it, he may never work again. Well, he will, but the way they spun this thing of putting this Adam James, one of the James gang, in a closet, electrical closet, sounded like something from Olive Grave or something. My tile man calls me and says, what'd they get him on, torture? And I thought, you know, this sounds kind of Karl Rowe-ish. Forget Karl Rowe. Ken Hance already hired Alberto Gonzalez. Believe me, he knows how to fire people and put a spin on things. So anyway, I'm really thinking that Kent is and whoever else is involved on the campus are just puppets. This is being conducted by the power brokers. I don't know if it's the cigar smoking ex-T-SIPs in Houston. I don't know if it's organized crime, if it's gamblers. But right now it appears they've put a lot of effort on putting their money and getting all the staging done for the University of Texas. And they do not like Texas Tech coming up and upsetting their apple cart. And I don't know who, but I'm sure there's more to it than just this kid and his ESPN daddy. Okay, there's one thing I want to say about the latest spin. They like to say is Mike wouldn't apologize. He couldn't apologize. The university was trying to take his $800,000 bonus. Any apology would have been an admission of guilt. They would have just used that in the trial against him. And I hope it goes to trial so we can find out who is really behind this. And to say just a word about what went on. Look, Adam had already been kicked off the baseball team. Something about he wouldn't take his sunglasses off. His daddy is one of the ones that brought SMU to their death penalty. You know, the problem is parents, these helicopter parents, you got to trust the coach and believe in the coach. What was coach going to let this kid do if he didn't come to practice or if he didn't go rest his mild concussion in a dark room, in the lineman's equipment room? So anyway, I hope it goes to trial, because right now, the one that's got the last laugh on this deal is Randy Crystal. Randy got the last laugh, but hopefully not for long. Trooper Keeton reporting from the campus of Texas Tech University.